All righty. We are going live. All right, y'all. What's the word? On this great Sunday. All right. That's much better, right? Much better. Hello. Who we got there?
Me, Ella.
Oh, okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm on, Steve-O.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okie doke. Oh boy, it's been a long week, y'all. You know, knowing that they've been talking about this money for almost 2 weeks now. Oh boy, and people are really getting from what I can see, people are really getting in an uproar about it. Obviously so, because someone made a comment at one of the meetings that, you're putting a lot of this money into infrastructure, and they said, but if I'm not mistaken, infrastructure comes out of our tax money anyway, and you're supposed to do that anyway. And that person answered their own question. But what they didn't realize is that much infrastructure repairs or money really doesn't happen on the normal with our tax dollars. Yes, they were right. Yeah, it's our tax money. All of this money that happens in America that you see going on around us, it comes from our tax dollars. And, if people thought it just was a gift from God or a gift from the president, no, it doesn't work like that. It's our money. And if we can reap the benefits of our money, so be it. We need it,
Well, Steve, that $456 million makes people greedy. And everybody want a cut of that pie. They got all kind of bullshit. Excuse me, because that permeable alley mess, that ain't even important. That ain't even necessary. But yet and still, everybody want a piece of that pie. And when they get through taking what they want, you be lucky to have 45 million left. Because they greedy. They want to cut. Well, they're not going to give hardly any of that money to the public. They're not going to do it. You see how they come up with all these other far-fetched ideas on how to spend the money before it get to you. And then it's got to go through the corporate council and all that other bullshit. I ain't wasting my time no more with that trash. Because they got all these damn steps you got to go through. Then they got to approve it. Then they got to do this. Then they got to do that. Don't waste my time with that mess.
Well, I think that since it's being pushed through, what do they call it, the federal government, they want to make sure that everybody understands that it's coming. This is how it's coming, and I guess they really want to see the people want it, because we're living in the Trump age where they're cutting everything, taking everything, and if some money got through, especially for Illinois, you think he would want to get to it. That being said, I think we need to count our blessings, get this money, make these things happen, and hopefully somebody can get some benefits out of it. The people that really are in need.
I think it's all a big facade. It's a big old facade, waste of time, something to make people feel that they're looking out for their best interests when they ain't doing neither. And that woman sitting up there, I don't know who her name is, the first lady, she just as crooked as they are. I don't know who she was. I forgot her name.
What was she, black?
Yeah, that black lady, the first black lady. What's her name? Burnett or something like that. I don't like people playing me. I don't want the damn money if I have to jump through all these hoops and you gotta make all these excuses and try to find reasons why you can't give it to me. I don't need it. And it kind of like ticking me off because they think black folks stupid. And I just don't like that.
The thing that I don't like is that you're right. We got to jump through hoops when other communities, they just get it.
Right.
And they don't have to do all of this dog and pony show but what's amazing to me is that the aldermen that were there, you didn't hear them say much of anything.
Because they in with it. That's a part of their MO. That's what they want to do. They gonna get they cut, whatever it is. They gonna figure out a way to get it. And I think it's all crooked and it's all designed to keep from giving people what's due them. Don't waste my time with that BS. That politicking BS.
$500 million sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not a lot of money when you break it down amongst, let's just say 100,000 people. It's not really that much. But what's amazing to me is I saw the mayor on Facebook or something out south on 79th and Cottage Grove where Reverend Hannah's church took over a spot where there was a liquor store with many problems, and now they're going to make something, turn it around to something more viable for the community. And the mayor was out there, advocating. He said, this is what I heard him say. This is the beginning of what's already, he said, what's already there or what's coming, yet to come, with the $1.25 billion, $1.25 billion invested on the South Side for housing and something with housing or something like that. I'm like, whoa, they getting $1.25 billion and we tripping over $500 million. And I'm wondering where is that $1.25 billion coming from? Because we're only looking at like $100 million that's coming from the city with this program, and the other $426 million is coming from the feds. So, I
just resent the idea that we're stupid and everything they take, we take it for face value, and we sitting there hoping that money is gonna come to us when after they get through, like I say, getting their piece of the pie, ain't nothing gonna be left but little penny pat money.
Yeah.
I was under the assumption that the 456 million was designed for the residents, not for the politicians and they little programs or plans they want to do with the money. They just breaking it down and breaking it up and taking what they want, and you gonna get the dregs. You gonna get what's left. I don't like that. I don't need to waste my time with them stupid ass meats. Let them go ahead on and do what they gonna do. Cause I don't care. We gonna survive. We gonna make it anyway without having to jump through all these doggone hoops and go through all of this BS they throwing in our way.
Well, I think the bigger thing is to see if you see more. That's all you see.
You don't see anybody else, and we understand because they are on fixed incomes, and every little bit that they can get to help them matters. And let's just be real. When somebody say money, people gonna, they're gonna jump.
Yeah. Well, that's because they need it. They really need it, and they're desperate for it because they want to get their house fixed up and everything. But I just resent what they're doing to the people. I resent that. I really do. Because it's not fair and it's not right to keep stringing people along, in hopes that they're going to get money to pay for the furnace they already bought and they on a payment plan to pay for it, or the water heater, and getting the mold that they, at 2 years. You think somebody gonna sit in their house 2 years without a furnace, without a water heater, without any of that? Ain't nothing said with reimbursing the people when they had to spend the money or to pay back the loans that they threw up on people to get their house back in order. Ain't nothing said about that.
Yeah, that's now that's the point. I remember Mr. Ruffin. He said he had to go in there and paint over his mold. He said he had to do it. He said there was no other choice. So that being said, he was like, you said don't touch it, but I had to touch it because I still had to live in it. And I understand that. People are getting advice. There was a couple that called me and they said, Steve, we just had ABC Water come out. And ABC Water's telling us we have mold in the walls. What do we do? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do, because if I tell you to go with what the city's offering, I don't know when that's going to happen. And
you'll be dead from the mold and stuff by the time they decide to act on it. And then what the little they give you ain't enough. It's not enough. So you go ahead on and take care of your business. Let them greedy ass people take all the money and do what they want, like they're gonna do anyway. And I don't know why the corporate council or whoever they say gotta approve anything.
The corporate council is the law department. That's for the city.
Well, so they're for the city, all right, because they're not for the residents. They are not for the residents. And they try to pretend like they doing something for you or try working on your behalf. It's been 2 years, going on 3 years. And if your house was in that bad a shape and you still living in there, what fool gonna sit back and wait on the city money, hopes of getting some money to help them? Then after they approve it, they gonna figure out a way to give you as less of the money as possible. Figure out a way to give you as less of the money as possible. I didn't hear you. Something happened. Hello?
I hear you, Miss Ella.
Okay. They're not working on your behalf. Them aldermen and folks sitting up there just waiting on the money to come to them so they can do what they want to do with it. They're not looking out for people. Because if they had, the money would have been there and they would have distributed it and gave people what was coming to them.
Oh, you talking about the flood monies? What
Yeah.
happened with that?
Nothing. They just trying to figure out a way to keep from giving us money.
I don't think that's the case.
I
What they
do.
said they got a half a billion dollars they trying to put on the west side.
Okay, you should have been at the meeting. They had everybody up there who want a piece of that pie.
Okay.
They're gonna do something with the alleys, give it some kind of permeable alley
Oh,
to
hold on.
keep
Wait,
the
wait, wait, wait,
alleys
wait, wait,
from
wait, wait.
pooling.
Wait. So you mean to say they got y'all together to talk about the flood, but then talk about how they gonna spend the money on
Yeah,
other stuff that's not flood related?
yeah.
Oh man, they
They had,
hoodwinked and bamboozled.
yeah, they bamboozling us. That's all
God.
they doing. They
Oh,
had did it.
Democrats.
oh my God.
Yep.
Nah.
They
All right. So,
already done planned how they gonna spend the money.
well, tell me. What's your thoughts on it, Steve? I know you was there, Arnold. I know y'all was there. What y'all think? What happened?
I agree that there's a long timeline with this. This is just a lot of, you know, inching their way, towards trying to get this done. But we're talking inching our way since FEMA was here, since Willie Wilson helped, and everybody else tried to help since 23. And now the feds are coming back with a whole nother clump of money that's not FEMA and dumping it on the west side. But the plan just, to many people, it looks off-sided because only like $100 million is going to go to repair homes, and then another $400 million is going to for infrastructure, i.e. permeable alleys, reservoirs to capture the water, inside of the west side under parks or whatever, or open lot. And then they're looking at doing 13 miles of infrastructure regarding oversized water mains, removing the what do they call those lead pipes that are currently in people's homes, and then what else? What else they were talking about? And then they had a piece in there for mitigation, which I kept pushing, and it looked like it was either 15 million plus some parts of 52 million, which is the weird thing you can't really understand. So it's either 65 million or it's less than 30 million or something, And I said with that mitigation money, at least you could do is put backflow valves in, and then check valves, backflow valves in front of the people's property, especially the seniors, because then the water won't rush back into their homes from the street, and they don't have to worry about somebody trying to take all that stuff out of their basements before the mold comes and tearing out the walls and mucking it out and using the shock aid. So at least do that for them.
Right.
And that's
for
probably going forward.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sound like y'all need that mitigation though. You know what I'm saying? I work for Chicago Water and Fire. Take that little money, pay my company so they can pay me. I'll come there, I'll tear your walls down, I'll get rid of all that mold for you. That's what it sounds like. Sound like y'all need me to come on through with my moisture meter and run some tests.
Yeah, because they not gonna do anything for nobody. They already greedy hands rubbing it together. I'm gonna get this money for my pet project that ain't gonna even work. That permeable alley is BS.
No, I actually think that's a great idea because if the infrastructure is bad, then you got to repair the infrastructure because if you pay attention to the weather, it's only getting worse. So, how many more of those floods before people are really forced out of their homes? Like, yeah, I get it that they not putting all the money towards repairing people's homes, but it kind of doesn't make sense when you own the homes. Like you're supposed to be prepared for, stuff that happens, And I get it, flood isn't one of those things, but you still should have something put to the side. So it's like they saying we can give you something on fixing it, but we not giving you the whole thing because we got to repair because this could potentially happen again.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna happen again if they keep using the black community as a floodgate alternative instead of flooding downtown or the NASCAR or whatever they have planned. They send it to us. Of course, it's gonna happen. They always do that to black
Yeah,
people.
I was gonna say, but that's just par for the course. So it's like if you're a black person, you kind of understand that they really don't care. So it's like I don't know. It's difficult, but I get it. All the elder people inside their homes who really haven't taught their like kids and things how to manage for a home properly. It's like now they would expect them to come and help. Like I'm talking about their children, and their children is looking at it like, nah, this not my house. You don't sit here and let it get bad or whatever. So I don't know. It's
Not to mention,
difficult.
you probably put them out at 18.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
taking care of this, and you put me out. I ain't even know my way, and you put me out.
Yeah, it sucks. But I
Yeah,
get it
yeah,
though
that's
for
true.
the elder people. But if y'all need that mitigation, let me know, man. We come tear down mold, we tear down walls, ceilings, floors,
I wish I
tear it
would have
all
known.
up.
I wish I would have thought about that. Let me see when they started. They started since 2023, no, 24 when the mayor came out in April of last year and he gave the $5 million. And they've been slow dragging. Now, I'm going to tell you, one of the things they were mad about, and I'm sorry, I wish Miss Jake was on here. They were mad because they sent a black lady out to the contractor. She had a Hispanic last name, and then she brought a bunch of Hispanics in to do the work. And they were like, well, you ain't got a black person even to carry the trash out? So people were kind of mad about that. And so far, they spent $3 million out of that $5 million.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, they could have came. I promise you, they'd have paid us. We working 2-man crews. We'd have had half the west side done by now.
Well, we're going to have to take into consideration that because there's still need. There are many people.
They already have who they want to give that money to
Yeah,
come
that's a
in and
fact.
help the house.
Yeah,
They
they
already
do. That's a
have it
fact.
already set up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They know you can do
They're
about
not
that.
interested in helping no black companies.
I'm gonna push. Now I forgot. Totally forgot, twin. I forgot that's what you do because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it was a fight. It was a fight, and to try to get people to go out there and do it for the little money before the city started paying. Then they finally they had like all these young contractors, young black contractors. I was going to the meeting, and they were waiting and waiting, trying to see when they were going to get money. They were ready to go in, and then they disappeared. And all of a sudden, the city money started coming in, like Ella said. It was like, wait a minute, who is this group of people? And why use this black lady at the front as if it's black-owned business, but her last name is Hispanic, and then all of a sudden you got 2 Hispanic people working in the basement. And that I know for sure because people have complained to me about that. They were like, see, they don't even have a young black person to throw the trash out, with this deal. And I said, they should. That's not a what do you call it? A skilled labor job. But yeah, that's something I'm definitely gonna. Because one of the things they've been asking me, like when it gets down to the real get down, it was like, Steve, do you have any black electricians? I'm like, yeah, I know some black electricians. Do you have any black plumbers? Well, that was a little. I don't know any black plumbers. But people with licensed electricians, yeah, I do know some black electricians. So
Just having a home now, and I'm seeing how much money folks can make off the trades. I'm mad that we don't have a trade school, and we do all this goddamn fighting, man, and we keep not fighting over the stuff we need to be fighting for, man.
Right.
Man, boy,
That's
it's so much
actually
damn money to be
exactly
made in this trade stuff, man.
what you're saying. That was Dwayne Trust brought that up. He's like, why we, Westinghouse used to be the vocational school. Why we not teaching these young kids in the vocational school the vocations that we need for
Facts.
to do these things
Man,
right?
shit. It's a lot. And man, you own your own business. The guy I'm study calling up, man, he be having every time he over here, his phone jumping. He doing something. Yeah, I'll check it out tomorrow. He call the call, running all day long. I mean, and granted, these things ain't easy, ain't like, but man, shit, the freedom. He get to turn down whatever work he want. Charge his
That's,
own numbers and shit, man. I'm like, man, it's too much money doing this, boy.
and we are, service oriented country, and that's what we're doing. We need these service people, and that's what somebody said that to me in a meeting. They said, Steve, we don't even have, where the young people? They're not even. We don't have any that can do these things. But one of the things I said was, where are the young people? They're not in the meetings. And I said, well, they don't own any property.
Yep, facts. Yeah.
And
You don't realize the necessity. Yeah, you don't realize the necessity until you own property, boy. God damn, like every time something break, now who the hell I'm gonna call for this? Man, you need that shit, boy.
Right.
Man.
You know what? I was young. When I was young and I bought my first piece of property, you don't know how important it was for me to get involved with NAC.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I used to call them all the time about all types of little things about this. So I just bought the property through them. And I'm like,
Right.
what? I grew up, so I need this league. And it's like, oh, we know some contracts. Then it's like, oh, what about these neighbors over here? They just out here wilding. They say, oh, we're going to talk to them for you. Oh, I ain't got no garbage cans. I put my garbage in everybody's stuff. Oh, we get you some garbage. Then I literally called so much, they were like, you call down here so much.
Yeah, the real why don't you come down and work? Shit.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
I was like, being 25 years old, 26 years old, by that time, I'm like, I don't want to hear that crap. I want what I want. I need somebody to help me. None of this. And then I thought about it. I said, but it's probably good to be on the inside so I know what they doing. And the community is supposed to be what's supposed to happen for the community. And
right.
Believe me, it was a lot of beneficial times sitting at the table with them older people, seeing the get down that people were trying to push past us in this community. And I totally, I feel indebted because I didn't have support. And you know what else? I remember feeling, at that age, I remember feeling like, man, I got a wife, I got a building, and what if something happened? I ain't got nobody what's the post come through here? Walk out or something. Who gonna help me? Because I'm young,
Right.
They gonna say, oh, this young person is that way, just wild like cops do. And then I'm like, well, at least I go to NAC, maybe they can advocate for me, and we get a bunch of people if something goes down. Always in the back of my mind, like I needed that support.
Thank you.
And I agree, man. I don't see how a young person could do it without having to go to. Man, these people will take your money out here. Contract.
Yeah. Get a note at 8 o'clock on Sunday. Shit, Valina be running the damn phone.
What's that? Oh.
That was somebody on the phone.
But anyway, long story short, yeah, we need advocates to help us. And I remember, look, this is one of the biggest things that NAC helped me with. Man, that's the first flood we had back in '97, and I had American Family Insurance. It was really good insurance. It was reasonable, but they covered their policies were really, they covered a lot. But decent, it wasn't cheap, but it was okay. Man, we had the flood in '97. I made a claim, and about a year or so later, not even a year later, they sent me a letter. I had been with them 7 years, and they sent me a letter. Oh, we're dropping you because you made a claim. I'm like, what? 7 years? I can't make a claim in 7 years? I never made a claim before. So I went to Ms. Fan, which is president of NAC. She said, you know what? That ain't right. Here. Why don't you call down to the Illinois building, call this lady and tell her your situation, and they're gonna take care of that for you. I'm like, what? We got people that go to the private people and tell them to and bitch slap them around. I'm like, wow. So I made the call, and when I made the call, I didn't really believe it. So they said, no, you got to come to Springfield. I called down to Springfield, and the gentleman said, okay, what's your problem? I said, well, I got dropped after 7 years of making payments. I made one claim, and it wasn't even that much. It wasn't even $10,000. You know, I don't know, like 5,000, like that. And I said, he said, well, what do you think it was? You think it was some discrimination or something? This is a white guy I'm talking to, and I'm like, yeah, I really do, because when I looked outside my house, all the white people on the block had insurance people coming in and out of their house, and I don't think they got dropped. And he said, okay, you know what? It's 12 o'clock now. I'm gonna call you back by the close of business today. I'm like, really? Okay. Man, that guy called me. I was at work, and I think he called my cell phone on my work phone. He says, okay, Mr. Robinson, you reinstated. I'm like, wait a minute. You work for the state. What do you have to do with private industry, especially insurance? He's like, well, I'm the overseer of all the insurance companies in the state, and I know all the heads of the insurance companies. I got you back in. Don't worry about it. You're going to get a letter by the end of the month. And blah, blah. I'm like, what? Sure enough, I was reinstated. And I just didn't understand why that worked like that. Why you got to act crazy just to get your just dues? And if I didn't know somebody that knew, you know, Miss Fan, that knew that we weren't supposed to be treated like that, I could have just as well been continuously treated like that. And I use it to this day. When I know people get dropped, I go and advocate for them, and I get them through. And if they got Mickey Mouse insurance, I call that number, and I give them the business, you know, and they get taken care of. I've known plus me 3 instances where that's happened. Any comments?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they can do what they want with black people because they've been doing it so long. It's like normal for them to keep denying us and canceling our insurance. If we make one claim, we can be paying for 20, 30 years. And you make one claim, and then that's when all the mess hit the fan.
But can you imagine the thousands of people that they've done that to that just didn't have anybody they could turn to and say, no, go to this person, they're going to get you reinstated.
Well, that's how they can pay off these big insurance claims that these white people make in the suburbs and everywhere. They're riding off our backs. They're not riding on their own. They're riding off us.
Back riding bastards.
My mother-in-law had the same situation. She had been in her property since 1978, and she made a claim after like 45 years. Never made one claim in 45 years. And I did the math, and I'm like, wow, you paid almost $60,000 in insurance. And then she went to make a claim because she didn't know her roof was damaged until she saw a piece of it down the street. And then the insurance company came out and said, oh, you're too late. The hailstorm was a year and a half ago. You only have like a year and a half to make a claim. She said, but how would I know my roof is bad? You know, I don't go up there every week and every month to check my roof. And she said, I had a contractor tell me your roof is bad. And the pieces that you found down the street, that's part of your roof. And they were denying her, nope, she should have done this a year and a half ago, at least a year ago. I mean, 6 months, you know, back, and you would have been okay, blah, blah, blah. So I told her, all right, we're going to give them the business. I said, give me your information. I'm going to call the people down in the state. You can follow up. And sure enough, they got on those people. They made them do her roof, and then they were trying to drop her. I was like, they ain't going to drop you after almost 45 years of paying, and you only made one claim, which was not even 20 grand, and they've already made 60 or 70 grand off you. You gotta be kidding. So it ended up working out, but you gotta know the people. You gotta know who to put the gut wrench on. I'm telling you, I had this talk with Barry the other day, and he was talking about, you know, a lot of things are based on patterns. I'm like, yeah, they are. But I said many of the things we live with is based on a system. And this part of the system that we go through is bullshit system. you know, and the reality behind that is it ain't never really stopped. But then I went on to say, you know, the things that happen, but it ain't so much of the system and the pattern, it's who you know. It's who you know. Because, like I said, in my case, there was people that I knew that got me through to the right channels. And I've seen that happen quite a few times. You have to go there. I hate to say it, but it happens like that.
Well, and really, it shouldn't happen like that because we all pay into insurances.
Yeah.
And whether you know the right people who can make the connection or not, you're still a paying customer and you're supposed to get what you pay for. You know, because and I will raise hell, and I have raised hell about unfair treatment when it comes to me, and I know what I've done and what's happening with me. I can't sit back closed mouth taking little dregs that they give me, little bits and pieces that they willing to throw your way just to pacify you. That's all they're doing. And until we start standing up, making noise, acting a fool, if that's what it takes to get
Gotta
what we
stand on
want,
business.
we gotta do it.
You gotta
Because
stand on
they're not gonna let
business.
you do it any other way.
But don't you think it's crazy that it's got to be an unspoken word that, oh, you can go to this person in the state and they can advocate and get you taken care of. That should be something that said, they should be giving commercials about that. If you've had any problems with your insurance company, denials or suspensions or just flaying out unfair practices, call this state number and they will help you get everything taken. That should be across the board. It
I ain't
shouldn't
gonna
be
lie
where,
though. That's a good idea though. But you know, that's something that because insurance got to go through the politicians too. The politicians should be making that stuff so. But I also say at the same time though that it's on us to make sure that we push something like that so that they could do that.
yeah, because I'm telling you,
Definitely something that our state individuals should be getting behind and forcing companies to do. Absolutely.
would you believe there's a person, and it seems like it's only one person, that's just sitting around his phone waiting for somebody to say, so we go, ring, 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 hello, oh, you had a problem with your insurance company today? Hold on, I'll get you back reinstated. Okay, you're in. What? That's what you do all day?
Man, some people privileged, man. Some people got some good ass jobs out here. Where they get to sit on their buns.
And guess what? He ain't getting 1,000 calls because everybody doesn't know. It'd be different if everyone knew, but he probably couldn't get out of there. He wouldn't be able to get off the phone. But everybody doesn't know. So I'm like, wow, man. We got back doors.
I remember years ago, maybe 30, 40 years ago, someone had started advocating for the insurance companies to be for somebody to investigate the practices of the insurance companies. I can't remember who did
They
it.
guy probably dead by now.
Well, you know what? I haven't heard no more about it since.
Yeah, them people don't play them.
They too connected. They'll take
you out. You mess with their money now.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, man, insurance, you got to have it. Especially you got a new property, you got a mortgage. You want to be covered, man. You want to gamble toward the side of error, if error happens or a problem. Because, I was talking to a young lady, you know her too, DeAndre Kelly.
Kelly, yeah.
She was talking about how her dad had a property. She just told me yesterday on Mason in the 100 block north. And she said the insurance company didn't insure him enough. And they had a fire in a multi-unit building. And they needed $100,000 to repair it. He didn't have enough to do the whole thing. So he ended up selling the place for $90,000 or something. She said, do you know the person that bought it, they in turn fixed it and sold it for $800,000? I was like, what? She said, all because we didn't have enough insurance to cover the repairs. I said, well, that doesn't even make sense because insurance companies are supposed to give you an estimate based on total repair costs, right?
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
man,
Like I paid what I paid $420 and I got $1 million worth of coverage.
right. That's how it works. You go above and beyond with the coverage just because, you err towards the side of problems maybe occurring. But nevertheless, I honestly think, we have to look at how we can advocate and support and help each other. At one point, I started thinking, why don't we insure ourselves? But,
Now that would be cool though. Just like they got now you could do, your secure credit cards and stuff to build your own credit up. You should be able to do that with your own insurance. That'd be good.
like they doing with this credit union. What's this credit union they just started on the west side? All the ministers.
Yeah.
Everybody pitching in, and there's some money in there for the person that needs to borrow. I don't think everybody that put in can borrow, but that's not how it works. But at least
I don't know. I'm a member of the credit union, so when I need to go borrow, I hope they got it for me.
Right. That's the whole point, But that's the same thing with insurance. We should be able to create our own insurance pool. If we could, what does it possibly take to insure property for damages? We're not talking about but that's the other part. Part of the insurance covers, I think the insurance covers like personal injury, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets sticky.
Yeah, that's the hard part, having commercial. So that's a whole separate policy, having commercial insurance. And I right now I just have comprehensive for the entire building, but not focused on any damages arising for this commercial space right now, because it's obviously I'm not using it, and I don't have people in here that could hurt themselves while doing work. So.
Right. Well, it also, insurance covers if somebody just walking through the place that slips on a banana peel.
Right. Right.
So, but that if they break a leg, that ain't no $10 million or $1 million or nothing.
Right. No. Right.
You never know. With some lawyers, they'll be like, well, that person was a tap dancer, and they made $10 million a year tap dancing, and now they can't.
Oh man, you ain't lying.
We can prove it. Look at him. How does he do this with one foot? He can't tap dance with one foot. And the rest of his life, he was called two toes tiny. And, now he's one toe tiny. And it's like, what? With some craziness, But it could be done because all of these insurance companies started off, you got to have some money to kick it off. But as it grows, then you're a bank. And you got to have, what are the people that not adjusters, but people that actually create the policy salesmen?
The underwriter? Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to give you a policy if you got a big hole in your roof, and then you got a furnace right next to a gasoline tank, and the furnace is 100 years old, and the flames are coming out, and they're like, oh, he'd be the first one to make a claim, and they definitely they're gonna deny you. They say you need to get all that fixed first, and then come talk to us, because you're a bigger liability than anything. So the salespeople or the insurance salesmen, I guess they got to know these things. But I'm still thinking about that. What Twin was saying, man. Yeah, they were definitely looking for people to go out and do the mitigation. I don't know what I was thinking. I know what you do, and I knew what you did, but I thought it was more like an insurance thing more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's both though. You could do you can go through insurance, or you can pay out of pocket. But I was working at the job when the floods took place. So there was quite a few places out south that we went to. Like you said, a lot of older homes. They got a lot of stuff they've collected in their basement over years. So I definitely been through a couple homes, and we was like just going in the basement and just taking all the stuff and tossing it, because it was affected. So, like you said, if it's been sitting for a while now, they probably
So,
do got mold and stuff all in their walls at this
so
point.
do you guys call that muck out? They call
Yeah, a
it
muck
muck.
out. Well, a muck out is when there's like sewage mixed with debris and everything. We would come and do a muck out, like in the basement or underneath a crawl space or something like that. That's what we call a muck out for sure.
That's exactly what we were looking for. They had to start hiring people around the neighborhood who just kind of come and help with that. And and then they were giving this because I sent some. DeAndre had an issue with some mold, and he was going to put the bleach on it. And I
Right.
said, no, hey, I could get you that shock agent because I know the people that's doing it.
Right.
And
Right.
and I said, man, if you don't want to go buy it because it's like $100 a gallon or something.
Yeah, he
And
could have called me. We got the industrial bleach with the we use peroxide, industrial peroxide, and then antimicrobial solution. But we also got mold stuff too. So,
yeah,
but
it's kind of special, some kind of special shock agent, right?
yeah, BioShock is like a white, come in a white cans. We use that as well.
Yeah, but
Right.
can you use like regular? What if you did regular bleach or regular peroxide? Wouldn't work?
No, because they
Nah.
said that the water. Well, go ahead. He's the expert. Explain that if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
no, because the chemicals that's in the stuff that we use is stronger, but it looked just like regular peroxide when it hit the surface of something that's moldy, it just start bubbling up all white, just like peroxide would do if it came to something affected. But no, not household peroxide ain't gonna work for it. You got to get the industrial stuff, which the stuff we use, I'm pretty sure you can go to Home Depot and get it.
So
So
it ain't.
you can go to Home Depot because if you read the back of the stuff, like we use like there's similar things at Home Depot that you can go buy and utilize the same thing. So you can
But
get
it's
it.
not cheap. From my understanding, it's not cheap.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not. But I'm just saying you could get it if you wanted it.
Right. Well, that's good to know because everybody thinks the home remedy is throw some bleach on it and some water, some more water on it.
Yeah,
But
no, that ain't gonna help. You gotta treat it. Like I said, we treat it, seal it, then we dry it and make sure it's completely dry. So if it's not dry, then yeah, you the mold just gonna keep spreading because the mold gonna spread once it's out in the air, the spores gonna get out, and that's why it keeps climbing like higher. It'll start low, then it'll start affecting your ceilings and stuff because the
yeah,
spores is gonna keep growing upward.
you ain't gonna believe this. I went in a house. Let me see, three houses down from me, and an older couple. They've been there for years, and the guy just died from heart attack. The last person, and they were cleaning out the house, and my neighbor went in because they gave him this fish tank. I mean, he had one of these fish tanks, man. It's about 2 feet high, about 4 feet long, and about 2 feet across. And he's like, "Hey, Steve, can you help me get out?" And he goes, "Come here, go up." We go up in the top of in the second floor of the house. Man, mold everywhere. Man, I had to cover. I'm like, dude, why you bring me up here? And he said, man, they had a bunch of fish tanks in all these rooms. I couldn't understand. How did you get mold in a bedroom? I mean, the walls, man, black mold everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they had these huge fish tanks. And what he told me, they were selling fish. They had a fish farm in their house, and all they would do is breed these fish and sell them to the pet stores. And he said, man, they had tons of fish in here. I said, they got tons of mold. That's why he died.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
don't went to man, people be crazy. I don't went to a lot of homes where they had like black mold just everywhere and the people would be coughing and they'd tell me that whoever lived there got like lung disease and stuff. And I'm like, of course, y'all been breathing in all this mold for all these years, and they just be living in it like it's nothing. I'm talking about I done went to crazy houses, mold everywhere. Like, yo,
Believe it, because this was the second floor, and every room he took me in was, if he was in the basement, I'd been like, wow, seepage, dark, damp.
yeah.
We went to the second floor, every room. Matter of fact, the only room that didn't have mold was the bathroom.
And you can
And you
smell
went
it too, so
I said, man, that's why the dude died. He's sucking in all this. And he couldn't move them water. He couldn't move those fish tanks. But I guess the tanks were close to the wall. And they just didn't, they were letting that moisture just over years and decades just, man. I'm like, I got to get out of here. I cover my face and I'm like, I'm out of here, man. You need some help. You bring it out. And I'll help you when you get it outside. But it's a serious. Miss Jacobs, we were talking about, and I know you've had some mitigation work done to your basement, and I was telling them how the people that came out, they definitely were underrepresented in our community, and well, if you don't mind, tell us the story, if you don't mind, when they worked on your basement for the mold and the water damage. Ms. Jacobs. Edie Jacobs. Well, when you come on, we can dive back into it, but she was one of the, you know what was weird? She told me
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, I was one of the people that worked on my basement. And I talked to, well, before they started, this young lady, the contractor, came out and she evaluated the basement and everything and wrote everything down that was what was needed. But I asked them if they would be hiring any of our people, our color. She said no, because they have their own contractors. And my people, they say they license and bond, but they a lot of them wasn't licensed and bond, and that's why they couldn't use our people. So, well, they got started, and when they came out, they wasn't our color. And I asked her, I said, well, what happened? I said, well, I got people, even if they just bring tools to the contractor, they need a job. She said, oh, no, because we already have our contractors and our peoples to work. And so that's who came out. The other people came out, and that's what happened.
And the crazy part is they hit her for a lick because it was what, 25,000?
Yeah, I guess that's what it was.
And then they only worked how many days? 3 days, 4 days?
Out of a week, I think they really worked like about 3 days. And wait a minute. And plus, now my bathroom floor. Now I asked her when she was here and going over the basement. I said, "Well, you taking the towel up? Are you gonna put towel back down?" She said, "No, we don't put the towel back down." I said, "Well, then you taking it up? You supposed to put it back down." She said, "No." So I said, "Well, okay. Well, okay, if you don't put the towel back down," I said, "the contractor that you're using, then I'll just pay him to put it down because I want my floor back and my towel put back down." So she never gave me anybody to put the towel back down. So I did sign the paper when they came out. I signed off, and they didn't never put it back down. Because she said, well, I told you we don't put the towel back. We don't put towel back. That's what she said.
And you told her you had the material already there, right?
Yeah, I have the material here. I told her. I just wanted one of the guys to put it down.
Right.
But she said no.
Even the extra cost.
yeah.
And
Well, that's like my brother, that's like my brother company though. They they demolition. They take it apart. They don't put it back together though. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. You talking about the mitigation. So on the mitigation end, we just there. Any mitigation company would just be there to take out what's been affected. So whatever got affected by water, mold, damage, whatever. That's their job to take it out. As far as putting it back in, that would be when we put it back in, I mean, our company puts it back in though. It's just that's a whole other department that would do that at our company. But most companies are when they doing the mitigation, they would do that. So when they took everything out your basement, did they set up drying equipment and everything as well?
They did everything else, but they just didn't put my tile back on my
Oh,
bed,
okay.
my floor.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
this is the point. This is the point. They went in with the whole shebang. You know, they were supposed to mitigate, and then they're supposed to come back and
Yeah,
renovate.
no, for 25,000, they supposed to did the whole for sure.
So,
We would have did it.
Ms.
It
Jackson,
depends on how many square foot. We might have did it for 10 and then say you the back end and got everything done for the 25. I know that's how my company listen. I personally, me, last year, I think I tore down in Lincoln Park a $1.5 million house from the rooter to the tutor, and they charged 50,000. My company, and I got paid what like 5,000. Well, actually, I got paid like 2,000 because I had to split it with my guys. But and that job took me 6 weeks to do 1.8 million. I'm just saying that to say they gonna give you a discount when you need one at my company for sure, Ski.
well, check this out. Ms. Jacobs, tell me how many people was in there working for those 3 days? Every day, how many people?
It was 2.
2 people. So I just did the math.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I do. It's two of us. If it was me, I probably would have got it done in 2 to 3 days as well. And it would have took like a week because we dried out within 4 days. So if it take 3 days to do the demo, 4 days to dry it out, that's a week. That's what we do too. It's the same thing.
Math. Do the math. And then how many hours were they working a day, Ms. Jacobs?
They worked. I guess maybe they worked for about maybe 4 hours.
4 hours.
That's an 8-hour day for 2 people, right? 8-hour day at $8,300 a day. You telling me they making $1,000 an hour?
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, it can happen. But it definitely sounds like they did some finessing though, cause yeah, that's kind of crazy. What you know the name of the company?
Yeah, Dewey,
No.
Cheatham, and Howe.
I got the lady's name too, because you know the contract that I signed off. Her name is on the contract. She got a funny name, a Hispanic name. She was a black lady, but she had a Hispanic name.
Yeah, Mr. Dewey, Mr. Cheatham, and Mr. Howe. Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Yeah, that's how we do it. They $8,000, $1,000 and something an hour, and she still didn't get her floor put back down. Oh, we don't do that.
No, I didn't get my
wow.
floor. I didn't get my floor put back down. No, I did not.
You put the walls back, you put the paint back, you put the molding back.
I mean, you know, one thing you guys gotta understand about when you get work done by people who are tradesmen, who are skilled, that stuff costs. And because they're experts, and this is with any trade, if you're a plumber, if you're an electrician, you know, these people have like almost ancient wisdom and knowledge that the most people don't know. You know what I'm saying? Twin can just go into a crib and look from the outside and be like, oh, I know what's happening in the inside. You're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for that.
Yeah, you was the wizard from Harvard's work. You ain't getting no $1,000-some-odd an hour to just tear out some walls, and a plumber doesn't charge that much an hour. So
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's kind of I don't know, man. 4 hours a day is kind of they had to work full days. Like I think at least 12 hours a day. I can't see him doing 4 now.
No. They didn't do no 12 hours. Now that I know.
Oh,
they ain't did no 12 hours a day. I know that.
Nah, call them people back. Tell them we need something else done.
Yeah, what I mean, but what all work you needed done though? I don't understand. You needed like to suck out the water and take the walls out or what?
No, they put some walls in, they put doors in, they put a cabinet in.
Oh, so they did mitigation work and restoration work then. They did both, right?
Renovation
Yeah,
and restoration. Yeah.
Oh, well they did. Then they did both. It's just like you said, maybe they didn't bill
They
for
probably don't have a specialty for floors though. Maybe they didn't have a person that actually does the tile work there.
Mm-hmm.
right.
So when you got the specialty for scamming, I'm gonna have to bring out the specialty hammer and hit you in your head. Cause $25,000 for
Miss Jacobs got that wop. She was gonna flash that thing on them.
I'm like, come on, we talked about this. And the sad part is that $25,000 came out from the city out of our taxpayer money.
Yeah, that's wild. That mean that people pocket a lot of money then.
Them people got paid.
Yeah, they got paid for sure.
People got
That
paid.
lady, whoever that lady was, she got paid.
I'm gonna tell you why they
Used
why
her
they
black skin. All skin folk ain't kin folks. Used her black skin and her Hispanic last name.
God. Oh God.
well,
man.
but this is a big thing. Do you really realize why they were moving so fast?
Yeah, they had the whole block to do. Yeah, they was trying to get
And
more.
you go. They were trying to get to the next 25,000.
Right.
I'm like, man, 25 G's in 3 days.
But I'm just saying, Steve, man, me personally, listen, I've had $25,000 jobs. I get paid 10.5% commission on what the jobs is that I finished in one day. You know what I'm saying? So it's possible. I'm just saying it is very possible because the way
And I believe you go from start to finish. But they didn't go to finish with her. They did not put her tile back in her floor.
No, they did not.
To pay more out of her pocket just to finish the job. And they said, nope. And the reason they said nope, because they already had calculated, we got to go over here and get this other 20. They were playing Pac-Man. You know, the little Pac-Man, he got to keep it moving. He ain't trying to go back to get the little bead over here. He's trying to get all the way up there, get the cherries and everything else. And that's what they were looking at. They didn't care about that. They didn't care if you were going to scream about it. We got it. We did what we said we were going to do. What?
Yeah, I don't know. That's so confusing. It's so confusing. I mean, I guess it depends on whatever the paperwork said that they was there to do.
Right, yeah.
But I was asking them the whole time. I asked the lady the whole time. In fact, I got to pay her name. But anyway, I don't have it in front of me. But I've said I was asking her the whole time, why are you gonna put the tile back? You taking it out? Oh no, we don't put no floor back down.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I said, it just sounds like that's just not their specialty. If they put wall back up, cabinets, and all of that, and they didn't do the floor, just that wasn't their specialty. She probably just didn't articulate that the way you needed to hear it.
This is why when you're dealing with contracts, you don't give them all the money. But they got all the money because the city giving them the money. And see, with contractors, you always work a third down. They better believe that third better be the material. And I'm going to go buy the material. I ain't going to even let you go buy it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I done started to do. That's exactly what I done started to do. I done learned that lesson already. It took me one time.
Right. Upon completion amount of this, and this. And if you got this, and this, I need the other third. Then you get the last payment when it's all done. That's it, that's all. So, you that way they don't try to fly on you and do other jobs and have you play, and then they play this little ping pong game between you. Then a 2-day project end up being 2 month project because they try to get the money over here and get the money over there. But you tell them, man, this is how I do it. I do mine based on contingency contract, based on a 3/3 payment. First third material, second third you get paid on your labor. If you got all this much X amount done, you designate what that should be, and the final third is you know, you done. And here it is. And then they're gonna always try to tell you, oh, I need a little bit more, because you know, I had to go and get this and go and get that. Well, that's your problem. You should have got it on the first third. Now, what you want to do? You want to hold this up because you don't want to go dig in your own pocket? No, I really don't have it. You know, I got to pay the guys. Well, the guys are going to get paid as soon as you finish. Nobody gets paid before they finish a job. Do you go on a job on a 40-hour week and say, give me my check up front? They don't work like that. So, you know.
But I even had the tile. I just wanted the guys to put it down. I had it myself. Some over stuff tile that I had from the guy that worked on the basement before they came in. But she said, no, they don't do that.
But the problem was, Ms. Jacob, what you didn't have was another $25,000. If you had another $25,000, because they know good and well, it's easy money, in fact. And they ain't got nothing to do with working a 40-hour week. I got to go where I'm getting this Pac-Man money, $25,000 a pop. Huh? What you talking about? $250? Oh, no, we don't do that. We don't do that. Oh, we don't do that. We're moving on. We got to go. That's what it was. You didn't have the grand total they're pushing on. They already in the mix with the city. They see the city paying them. The city ain't paying them on third. They're paying them, okay, start the job, and then you finish it, here's your $25,000. And that's how they looking at it. We ain't gonna sit here and do this. They already got in their mind. We ain't laying tile. They take because when you lay tile, you gotta let the gravel stuff, you gotta let the mastic dry, you gotta come back another day and grout. You gotta come back and put the mold. We ain't doing that. We got a 3-day process to get all this money. Now, if they had a 5-day process, I might feel a little bit better about giving somebody, you know, $5,000 a day. What is that? 5 times 5 is 25,000, right? Yeah, I might feel a little bit better about giving 2 guys broken down into at least a 10-hour day. You know, 5,000 a day. That's 2,500 a guy for 10 hours. What is that? What's 25 G? Divided by 10 an hour, $250 an hour. That's still a lot.
Yeah, $250. Yeah.
Good Lord, but I might feel a little good about that because at least a 40-hour week, no, 50-hour week, they put in a little overtime, but they ain't how they doing it. They trying to just get this 20 grand because they 25,000 because they know it's allocated and grab it and go. Get the next one, grab it and go, and ain't nobody got nothing to. This is the downside. This is what they plan on everybody. Well, you should be happy you're getting it done for free. What do you mean it's for free? It's taxpayer money. Last time I checked, I pay tax.
It sure is. That's right. That's right.
And the reason we're talking about this, everybody, is because we looked at the idea of how insurance works and how, taxpayer money, realistically. You know, insurance you pay into a pot. And then as soon as you make a claim, they want to drop you. What? Why you drop me? I've been paying for 5-10 years. Ain't that enough? I could see if I just been paying for like 6 months, and then you go, wait a minute, you just made $100,000 claim, and you've only put in $600. Yeah, that looks a little weird, but you know that happens too. But the probability of it happening isn't that great. But should you drop a person that that's another thing. They're not going to drop you if you just made $100,000 claim. You've only put, let's say in 6 months, let's just say you put $2,000. They're not going to drop you because they got to recapture some of that money. So they got to keep you around. And what they're going to do is just keep raising your premium so they can get their money back fast. You know? And they put you on that little shelf over there called, we got to keep an eye on them to get our money. You know, every other year, let's go up another 1,000 on them. You know.
Yes, sir.
We might not get our whole $100,000 back, but you know what? We need that. We need him right now. You know, keep replenishing on the high end.
Yeah, definitely. Working in the industry, I see that all the time where people have like these claims when they have water damage loss and things like that. And it's like maybe $5,000 or $6,000, but they're using their insurance to pay for it. And you know, I understand just in the long run that this is gonna make their insurance like premium skyrocket. because it's such a small thing. You know, I guess insurance is looking at it like if it's $5,000 to $10,000, you should be able to cover that out your pocket. You know, maybe come. But I mean, it's insurance. It's like how often is something gonna go wrong that I'm gonna actually use it? But yeah, I see
Right.
that. I see
That's
that
what
in
it's
my
there
business,
for.
in the business all the time.
It's in case thing, you know.
Yep.
When you can't do nothing else, they're there to help you. That's what it's supposed to be, a just in case thing. But I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. You know, they got to make money too. But good Lord, sometimes they pick on the wrong
They want
people.
all of it. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what we at, man. I mean, we're looking at $500 million. The West Side is coming to, and this is the crazy thing. I thought you were gonna be there, DeAndre, because that meeting was down the street. That meeting was down the street from your house, at Zoe Church, Abercrombie. I think it probably was a good, 200 some people came out.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
all
No,
of,
I seen it, but you know what, man? I mean, it ain't affect me, so I'm cool. I'm on vacation anyway. I come on, so I've been trying to get some rest.
yeah, no. Well, it will affect you because the thing that they can help with is getting rid of them lead pipes coming to your place, because that's part of the deal.
Oh, the infrastructure piece.
That's part of
Okay.
it. So oversized water mains, getting rid of the lead pipes while they're in there. I'm pushing them to do the mitigation part, to put in backflow check valves. You definitely want that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because
They
those
putting
things
in
run.
sub pumps in everybody's crib.
Yeah, you don't really need sump pumps. Everybody says that. People in the meeting say, well, Mark, we need to put a sump pump in. No, you don't, because sump pump ain't going to never keep up with that kind of water. Them pumps burn out. They stop running. They literally stop running. Trust me, I've seen it happen several times. You would have to have like a super industrial pump, and they don't even sell those at the store. I mean, a half horse, 3/4 horse. It can't keep up with that kind of water, going through your system, through your
Right.
your sewer line. So that's why the best thing is a backflow valve that keeps that sewer water from coming back from the sewer back into your house. Now, if you got some seepage around the house, or you got somewhere that the water's coming down the back stairs and going into a drain, you got to look at trying to get that taken care of too, because it'll just go into your pipes and then it'll start coming up through your floors also. But the best thing is a backflow valve. Now, back in the day when I got them done, when I first looked at a company, it was a company called Everready Flood Control. They were charging like $3,800 or $4,800 to put one. I was like, and I'm like, man, I got no $5,000 up. I bought this house. No, we ain't doing it. We're going to, wait this one out. Like Noah's Ark. But then it happened, So then I'm like, the big one came in '97, and I think it happened in, son was 1, so. I don't know. It might have been the summertime. It was spring, summertime, or something like that. And Ella probably remembers because we had a big meeting at St. Andrews, left to the fish. But nevertheless, I ended up flow valve either a year later, and around Thanksgiving time or something. It was a holiday. I was home. I found a guy. I was in a plumbing store. I said, "What's that thing?" He said, "Oh, that's backflow valve." I'm like, "How much is that?" And it was like $175. It was PVC one, and it's got the flap, and they said, "Yeah, these things work." And then the guy that was in there, he was standing there. He said, "Man, I put these in." I said, "How much?" He said, "Man, I'll charge you like $975." I'm like, $975, and this is like not even 200. Yeah, come on, man, meet me on this day. I'm gonna be at home this day. I'm gonna day off. He came in there. He dug up the big hole in the ground in the basement, probably 4 feet down or something like that, 3 to 4 feet down inside the basement. Big old pile of dirt in my basement. Put that thing in, and sure enough, when them floods were coming, my ass never had that kind of problem again. Now, did I get water in my basement? Yeah, I got water in my basement because I got stairs that come down into my basement. And when you get all that water, the rain comes down the stairs, and then I got a drain in the gangway between the door and the stairs. and all that water just comes in anyway. But it's not like I had the first time. That water was like a foot and a half. You know, it was almost up to my knee. And but the only thing I had to do is just block off that drain and figure out like maybe I need a cover over my stairs so that I could just close like the storm cellar things where the water just goes back outside and it's sealed, and then you know they'll keep the water from going down there. But nevertheless, it's a great idea to have a check valve. I'm telling you. And now they're about $15,000. Somebody told me $10,000 to $15,000 to put them in.
God damn.
Yes, indeed. That's why I'm telling people, get that value. Get it. They gonna put it in, man. Don't be sitting there arguing with these people. Yeah, we need more. Yeah, we do need more. Give us that first.
The city, so the city is gonna pay for the backflow valves and the installation?
That's already part of the mitigation piece. But the way it's spelled out in this is the deal. There's $102 million that the city is giving out right off the bat. That money is there. There's $426 million that the feds are getting. And in there's infrastructure, there's mitigation for like $15 million, infrastructure for like 300-something million, and then they got these things what they call permeable alleys they want to do, which I think, Ella, you may be a little off on that, because my understanding of the permeable alleys, that water doesn't flood your alley. It literally drains under the alley and sends the water back to the sewers, but it becomes a big under alley drainage system, you know?
But Steve, how many alleys in our area have you seen with pools of water? The only time I see pools of water is when there's a pothole and the water sit there. I don't see our alleys flooding like that to justify them putting that permeable whatever it is. Now, if the water goes up under the alley, it has to buckle some other part. Where is the water going?
No, that's the thing. From my understanding, it takes all the water, and what you would end up doing is, instead of diverting the water to the front of your house, you would divert it back to the alley. And then now, what's coming off your roofs, what's coming off your garages, it goes to the alleys, and it won't flood your yard, and it won't flood your basement, and it won't flood the front. Now those permeable alleys have become like these big reservoirs that hold it and slowly lets it trickle back into the sewer system, opposed to just torrentially pushing all that water into your sewer system, which is going to back it back up on the front. They're like holding pins. Let's call it that. Holding pins that don't affect the surface.
I don't have much confidence in that because something is just not right with that whole process.
Well, it's to be determined. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's to be determined because we ain't never seen it done in the city.
Right.
You're right. We ain't never seen nobody say, how that working over there with y'all? Oh, yeah, it's great. I can drive out. Oh, yeah, my yard's dry. Oh, yeah, we don't have big puddles in front. Yeah, my basement's not. We ain't heard nobody say any of that because we ain't seen it happen. Where is it? Where's the example in the city? Not anywhere else. Well, give us a city that's comparable to like Chicago and show us how it works.
Well, Steve, the other night I left and Presidents came out and said they was taking the money. What happened with that? That meeting, the last meeting they had. What happened with that?
I'm gonna tell you like I told everybody else, and I'm gonna put it as simple as this: Would you prefer a person to give you a map and tell you, here, use a map, go over there and dig this money up if you can find it and it's there? Or would you prefer people that got the money to say, here's the money and I'm going to put it right here in what needs to be done for you? Because I'm going to tell you, Prince is talking out of her ass. I don't know where she come from with all this stuff. I don't know where all this is going. I don't know where she's the one that's supposed to be part of this whole team. And I do not understand how she's part of this team, but she's all over the place with all this other sporadic stuff going on.
I think you breaking up, Steve. I think that's you. You skipping in and out. Can't hear you.
Oh, 1 2 1 2. No, I said.
Yep.
I don't know what.
Yep.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I mean, it can, but you definitely was. Yeah, you good on my end. I might just be you, Dre.
I don't know what part did
Oh, it's
anybody
just me? Yeah, it might be you. He good on my end. I heard him clear.
Oh,
okay, all right. It's just me then, gang. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Yeah, I was just saying, where she's renegade stuff, and she was the one that brought me to the table with this West Side Long-Term Recovery Group. And now she's the co-chair, and she's never seen, and she's outside doing all these other things and going against the group and going against the grain and saying all these comments and making all this. It's like, what part of this? First of all, I'm going to say this. She doesn't have a 501c3. She doesn't have a SAMS certification. She doesn't have a Dun & Bradstreet. She doesn't have a GATA certification. She doesn't have what else you need in most organizations see? Secretary of State certificate of good standing. She don't have Illinois Attorney General's approval stamp. Well, like, what does she have that everybody?
Wait, are you saying so? She made this is a business for her then? I mean, because all of those things are business things you're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. The city's not going to give her anything because she has none of these things.
Okay, I see what you said. Okay, right.
So
Hell no.
Have these things are trying to work out. Let's handle this so we can make it happen for like just telling your brother. I'm like, man, if I'd known that, I would have been pushing some, hey man, even if he was doing it on the side, because they were looking for people. They were like, yeah, we need some people out here to help, do this mitigation and do this muck out. We need more muck out help. We don't have enough. They were paying out, they come up with some money. Then the city money dropped, and it was like, you heard Ms. Jacobs. She's one of many people I've talked to that's been getting the city money.
Right.
And that ain't even the bigger pot out of the 100-something million. And then there's more for mitigation about. It's either between 30 and 50-something million for mitigation, and that's besides the 100-something million that the city is going to give. So I'm just saying, yeah, I agree with Ella. It's a long time coming because people can't just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. But the other side is let's flex and push and make them move faster, and let's get this money.
Gotta get that bread. Gotta get that bread.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, even for you, don't discount it out, man, because you're on a major thoroughfare. They definitely got to do infrastructure on a major thoroughfare. And this is what stuck in my mind. The Department of Transportation guy said, or was it water management? He said, we're going to do 13 miles of sewer and replacement pipes and all that stuff just in Austin. Pretty much Austin, 37th, 29th, and 28th Ward, which is, mostly Austin. And then they threw in the 30th, which I don't even know who and what that is. And I said, why they got to be involved? We ain't never seen them sitting at the table. And they were like, well, that's the new alderman, and she had a little bit of damage in it. But then they had a little bit. Don't even worry about it.
At Ruth Cruz. 30th Ruth Cruz.
Yeah. They're down division somewhere, and I'm like, if it wasn't that much damage, why we worried about it? But anyway, so we ain't gonna argue and lose everything because they want to throw in whoever. But I still don't think that was cool. So what I'm saying to you is the infrastructure is going to be good because
there's nothing wrong.
It's gonna help the whole. And guess what happens when they start changing pipes and all that? We get new sidewalks and sewers, streets. So that's a good thing. And then
what I need is my water. I need my water to be good. Shit, that's what I need. If they talking about making my water great, then Water, like water out the tap.
Well, you know what's not making your water great? You know what that is, right?
Nasty ass pipes that we got.
Right, exactly. The pipes are just getting too old. But you know, they're talking about pulling them up. And if they're gonna do it for the free ski, well, I ain't gonna even call it a free ski. I'm calling it for our taxpayer money. Let's do it. And they said they're gonna do 13 miles of all of this infrastructure stuff. 13 miles. You know what the guy said from the Department of Transportation or the Department of Water, man? He says we only do 7 miles of infrastructure for the whole city every year. He said, so that's a lot to be dropping for the West Side, you know, primarily Austin. So let's get this money, guys, and try to figure out, you know, and hope that we can get some people like these seniors, Miss Jacobs and Ella and whoever else, you know, that somebody to get something that's going to be beneficial to making their quality of life better for their property, you know. And everybody
I've tried 4 names in to Crawford, Virgil. And another thing, Steve, I asked
Virgil still out
about
here. What Virgil been on?
huh?
I said Virgil still out here. What Virgil been on? I ain't heard his name in a minute.
Boy, you just don't know.
But Steve, I did ask about Black contractors in our community, certified, licensed, and certified, because I'm still on that.
Exactly.
We finna get my brother, man. We finna get Twin to get his business going. Shit, and then y'all send all that work away.
That's what I'm talking about.
Brother need to get this money, man.
That's part of the advocacy that I'm pushing is that I mean, you're gonna sit here and tell me everybody has to be a blue chip level contractor with multiple certifications and plaques just to take out some drywall and throw it in some garbage bags.
That's what I'm
yeah, but realistically,
that's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Realistically, if I am certified, so you do want to find people with certifications. I got applied structural drying, my ASD, and my WTR, water and applied structural drying. So I am certified. My company make sure we certified for this stuff. So you do want to find somebody certified that makes them credible.
No,
well, that's
but I'm saying you ain't got to be blue chip, meaning that you went through the chip program, the journeyman program, and now you a class act plumber, you know, whatever.
Oh yeah, nah. You definitely don't, because we literally came in and just got our skills from the guy who was teaching us, and then we went for training and stuff.
Yeah, because it can be dangerous. You can go in there and start taking a wall out. You don't realize you got BX behind the wall, and you pull the doggone wall with the drywall, and you short out everything and shock somebody and start a fire. So yeah, it could be bad.
Yeah, I think like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I cut a pipe. Water was just spraying everywhere, so that can happen too.
Right. And then you gotta go.
Sir, are you registered with the city?
No. I work for the company I work for. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the company I work for registered with the city, but me personally, no. I just got my certifications through the company. But I mean, it's called the ICRC. So I don't know if that's through the city, but that's a independent thing that we go through. But I'm pretty sure the company I work for is.
No, but he asked me. I was telling him that I want to refer some Black contractors, and so he said, "Well, give me some names. In fact, I'm supposed to call him tomorrow."
Oh yeah, I ain't no contractor, so I wouldn't even. I just do the mitigation work in the homes.
The front end, the demolition, pretty much.
Demolition, yeah.
Well, I'm just pushing. I'm pushing because I know some contractors. They said they licensed and bonded, and I'm supposed to turn these names in tomorrow.
Absolutely. Okay, y'all. Sounds like a plan. We're getting down to the standing. We trying to make moves. I'm tired.
Yeah, I was gonna say, last thing I was gonna say, it's interesting because So as I've been, getting people to try to come do some work over here, one thing I keep finding is that, black people, they really be, as usual, like focusing on the hustling side of it. And the Latinos are the ones that's licensed, bonded, and insured. Our people, like, they could talk a good game and they know what they doing, but when you be like, okay, man, you licensed, bonded, and insured, because if we want to try to do this on a larger level, that's what I need from you, and they not. So
Right.
I don't know, man. We got to figure out how to sell trades, man, back to these kids.
Well,
Some of these
well,
damn adults who sitting around.
They're not licensed, Drake, is because they don't have a startup to go to get that. They don't have the startup money. Now you might say, oh, that ain't nothing but $1,200-$2,500. Yeah, but sometimes $1,200 to $2,500 is what they're paying their bills with. So that's
But
part
shit, they
of it.
got the programs out here. I was just at a little spot.
Huh? We go with a pool that helps them do that.
Right.
So,
Look, well, again, we got elected officials. If that's the reason that's keeping people from getting certified, then that's what the elected officials are for. We're supposed to go to them and say, hey, we need a fund to help get these black contractors certified because da-da-da. Like, I just went into a space the other day where they were showing me that they are trying to employ some of the youth to do that manufacturing piece, So it's out here, man. It's really about, if we want to get into it, we can keep complaining about these Latinos being involved in it, but just the other day, my guy that's doing my work, his name Israel, he do good work. He brought his son with him both days, and he was working on my AC unit. His son said, "Yeah, he 11 years old, and he teaching them, and that's what continues to happen in their community."
Let me tell
Is
you,
that Israel, my neighbor, the one that lived down the street from me? Israel, I forgot his last name, but he lived down the street from me.
It's his business, Logan and HVAC.
Yeah, Logan. That's him.
That's Izzy then. That's Izzy. Yeah, that's
my neighbor. That's my neighbor.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm gonna tell him. I know you for even bigger discount. But
drop my name. Maybe he'll give you something off.
Izzy good. Izzy is great.
Yeah, he good, but he a little expensive than other people. But he does his work. My brother used him, and I use him when I need stuff. So
I got a young black guy that do HVAC, and he's worked for some of the better companies that's out there. Actually, he just told me, he said, man, I used to work for Seco. I'm like, you work for Seco? I know the owner of Seco. I knew the co-owner. He was the maintenance man at the company I worked for 20 years. And I said, I used to call him to do work on our industrial chillers and our HVAC for our buildings and all, big stuff. And he said he worked for them. I'm like, you work for Seco, dude. I already know. Plus, that's what he does. He works for McCormick Place, for the HVAC guy. He lives right here on the west side, right off of Long and Potomac or something like that. But the only side to that, he ain't the guy that's like, okay, let's go do a big project, which he could, but he got a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That ain't what he do full time, but he could do it. Like for me, he came and did some stuff for me after hours when he got off work. Put in 3-4 hours, took care of some HVAC stuff. He got his license and bonded. He got his whole shebang. Because you can't do it for the McCormick Place unless you like. I don't know about the bonded part. That's the bonded part because he doesn't have a company. So, but yeah, you got to weigh it all out. But anyway, y'all, I got to get down. I've been over here since 11 o'clock. And I got to get in and get ready for tomorrow. But it was a good, premise show for us to kind of get a good idea of what's possible for us, and hopefully we can get this stuff happening. Trust me, I've been sitting in these rooms with these individuals, and we've really been pushing. I have, and others have. So we're gonna try to make this happen. And everybody keeps talking about Princess this, Princess that. I don't even want to hear about it. Princess, well, you laughing because you know Princess. You know her.
Steve, what was Jackie Reed take on this? Why was they pushing her? What did they want her to do? Westside Health Authority.
Because Jackie is she's the chairperson or the president of the Westside Long-Term Recovery Group. It's called WLTG, LTG. And Princess is the co-chair of the Westside Long-Term Recovery Group. But now there's something going on, because all of a sudden I hear so many people saying, Princess had a meeting over here, Princess did it. Then you got Princess talking about they stealing money. And I'm like, what the hell going on? Because you the one who brought me to the table. Now I don't even know where you at. I don't know where the table. So, I'm trying to figure it out, y'all. But on the real side, let's go ahead and close it out, D.
Hello. Oh, my bad. Y'all, hello? Shoot. Yo.
Yeah, go ahead, D. Close it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Appreciate everybody for jumping on. What I was gonna say, a couple things. They're doing something at Moore Park for the kids. I was gonna do a bike fix clinic here at the Reuter Center, but we're gonna end up moving it down there. With the it's Saturday the 24th. It's go from 10 to 4. They're gonna be there damn near all day at the park. So if y'all know any kids, that need to go ahead and be outside, they're gonna have a ton of stuff for them to do, in addition to a bike fix clinic where you can get your bike fixed, as well as enter into a raffle to get a new bike. And then June 5th, that's a Thursday, we're gonna do a Know Your Rights here at the Reuter Center, focus on FOIA, so folks can learn how to FOIA information. If you got, if you want police records or elected official records, you know what I mean, and you feel like they hiding something, you can go ahead and FOIA and find out whatever information you're looking for. So we teaching folks how to do that. That's gonna be at 6:00, so 6 to 7:30, June 5th. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, but thanks for jumping on, y'all. Like I'd like to say in closing, they didn't want us to have a seat at the table, so we made our own. Now we got open seats for y'all as well, and we just trying to welcome y'all on home. So thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, y'all. And hopefully we can figure out what table Princess sitting at, because we ain't figured out without me.
All right. Good night.
All right.
Later, y'all.
Hi.
I want to engage your services.
All right, later, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.